Welcome everyone to Play Hard and Love Big Radio, the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP, based out of Folsom, California. Check us out at spotteddogyoga.com. It's been an awesome podcast season, and I want to say thank you so much for supporting us, being on our show, and listening to our show, and sharing our show with your friends. It's been an incredibly successful season, with us hosting up to this point 25 different episodes featuring 25 different guests who have shared their life stories. They've shared what challenges they've gone through, what successes they've had, and what tools that they've used to fulfill their purpose and to keep moving forward. And that's what Play Hard and Love Big Radio is all about, bringing you the people and their stories to help you connect to your center so you can go out and live a more purposeful and passionate life. So thank you. Thank you for following us this season. We're looking forward to finalizing our season in the month of December by highlighting an organization that we partnered with a couple of years ago called Hearts for Heroes USA. Hearts for Heroes USA is an organization that is dedicated to making a difference in the lives of first responders and their families. This organization is making a huge difference in a lot of different ways. Part of the organization that's getting the most notoriety is the Paw Platoon Placement Program. This program is dedicated to bringing therapy dogs to first responders inside of their workplace so that on a daily basis, first responders have access to a dog to help them deal with the daily trauma and the built-up trauma of working in such a high-demand job. Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP is dedicated to helping the community at large, and we're grateful that we found Hearts for Heroes USA as an organization to support. Every Sunday at 11 a.m., we have a free donation-based class at our studio in Folsom, where all the proceeds of that class go to Hearts for Heroes USA. In the springtime, we had an opportunity to host members of Hearts for Heroes USA at Spotted Dog Yoga and SUP for multiple interview sessions. We took a majority of those videos and put them together in little splash videos for Hearts for Heroes USA's Instagram and Facebook profiles. We also made a little video for their yearly gala where they host all their handlers, their trainers, and supporters and say thank you for all the support that they're getting in this area. It was an amazing experience for me to sit down and speak to all these magnificent people about their experience with this organization. And finally, as a way to conclude season number 6 with Play Hard and Love Big Radio, I'm compiling all of these interviews, and we're going to be releasing these interviews throughout the month of December. In this podcast episode, I'm featuring a man named Joe Pick. Joe Pick is the executive director for the Firefighters Burn Institute. I really enjoyed this interview. It was so great to hear about how Joe and his dog Boots, who was provided to him and their organization by Hearts for Heroes USA, are out making a huge difference in their organization and their community with burn victims, but also supporting the overall fire community in their efforts to bring health and wellness and peace, really, to people. Joe Pick is one of my favorite interviews, and I'm excited to share it with you here. In this video, he takes some time and talks with Hearts for Heroes USA's executive director, Shelley Martell. And then in the second half of the video, you get to hear about his personal experience of having a dog who was placed by the Paw Platoon Placement Program into the Firefighters Burn Institute and what it's been helping them accomplish with burn victims and with the overall fire community. I really enjoyed Joe's perspective on this, and I think that it helps bring a lot of value and understanding to what Hearts for Heroes USA is doing, to what the Firefighters Burn Institute is doing, and to what the overall fire community is doing to help support the people that work for them and to help support their communities. Do me a favor, share this episode with the people you love and know. Share the mission, share the vision of Hearts for Heroes USA. They're an amazing organization. They're doing great things. They're working with great people. And I'm so excited that you jumped on to listen to this. Enjoy this episode with Joe Pick, the executive director of the Firefighters Burn Institute, and Shelley Martell, the executive director of Hearts for Heroes USA. And as always, thank you for listening in to Play Hard and Love Big Radio.
Hi, I'm Shelley Martell. I am the executive director of Hearts for Heroes USA, and this is my good friend Joe Pick with the Firefighter Burn Institute. He is more than just one of our partners. He is my mentor. He is our friend, and we've just been really blessed to have this ongoing partnership with them. And this is sweet little Boots. He is our dog that we donated to them from the Paw Platoon Placement Program. And he's just doing amazing work for them. And we're just so thrilled. He is a certified therapy dog and one of the first to get through. Yep. So, yeah, we love it.
We do burn camps for burn survivors. So he's been to several of those so far. Actually, I got some footage of him in Santa Cruz on the beach and boardwalk. He has a unique job, which means that he's going to get loved on by many kids. When we have a camp, we have 50 burn survivors that are there, and he's an emotional support dog and a therapy dog and just all around make you feel better about being around dog.
It's been absolutely amazing. The dedication and commitment and really the drive that he has for our program has been near and dear to our hearts. He's very vocal about speaking up about our program and sharing the mission, getting it out there for people to really see all the things that Boots has provided. Joe is also Captain Joe Pick, a former firefighter. And so he does live the first responder life. And I know you're going to go into that a little bit more.
Retired now.
Yeah.
Retired from Metro Fire as a captain and had always been involved with the Firefighters Burn Institute as a volunteer and got an opportunity to be the executive director. One of the best decisions I've made in my life next to getting into the fire service. Our organization has been around for 50 years and we really focus on the aftercare, and Boots is a big part of that. And the partnership with Hearts for Heroes just became a natural fit to have a dog that could be supportive to our burns community. It's been great. And I got to tell you, it was one of those things. I had no idea what I was jumping into. We had met. She had been talking about placement in fire. I believe you had already placed one of the first ones in at Folsom. We agreed that there was a connection here for us, not only on the first responder side, but specifically for our burn community. This dog has been a great advocate everywhere I go. It opens up conversations. And then again, the partnership with Hearts for Heroes, the fact that we all meet together on a regular basis, fire departments, police departments, the dog that's at Mercy Folsom, train together, and we're a resource together. And I think that's what makes us kind of special, is that if there's a significant incident in our area, that we're just a phone call away to be able to have that support, bring our dogs, and hopefully help support whatever the incident is.
So one of the very first things that happened with partnering with Joe and the Firefighter Burns Institute is that they really did step up and come side by side us for our very first gala. Our missions align. We are very, very active about mental health and wellness for first responders and Firefighter Burn Institute civilians and firefighters. And when Boots came along, I just knew that this was the dog that I needed to place. It was a hard one. It was very hard. Booty I almost kept. So that's his little nickname. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this. And I love hearing from his wife and everybody on your board. Be so grateful to have him. And, you know, just the stories that keep coming out of the work that he's been able to do and provide. That at the end of the day is what this whole mission is about. And it's just been a great journey with you.
Well, in our organization, our governing body is Local 522, which is Sacramento Area Firefighters, which represents over 8 departments in 3 different counties throughout Sacramento. So the commitment, her commitment to first responders, specifically in the fire service lane, was a great fit for us. He goes to peer support. Sacramento area has one of the strongest mental health peer support groups throughout the country. We have a very large group from a bunch of departments. He goes to that training all the time with the other dogs from the other fire departments. And we look at it from all different angles of how we can have better mental health for our first responders. I'm a dog lover, and what I've seen is just bringing him to the firehouse. It's always that quiet firefighter, the one that's sitting in the corner, just not saying much. And then you see him reach out because the dog senses and goes to them. I think it's amazing. I think not only for our first responders in the firehouses, but the opportunity when there is a traumatic event to our community to be able to bring the dog out and be a support for our community as well. Dogs have a sixth sense about when somebody's in need, and they love unconditionally. And that's what he does. He does that in our burn community. It'll be that person that's quiet, that's sitting there by themselves, that we see, then all of a sudden they're kind of breaking down their barriers by just simply petting on a dog. My name's Joe Pick. I'm a retired fire captain from Metro Fire, currently the executive director of the Firefighters Burn Institute. We've been around for 50 years, promoting and supporting burn survivors during aftercare. Our relationship with Hearts for Heroes came when I met Shelley and saw what she was trying to do with dogs in firehouses. And it was actually her idea, saying, I have a dog that I think would fit your need, because ours is a little different than the dogs at the firehouse. He'll go to Shriners, he'll go to our kids' camps, go to our adult programs, so he gets a lot of exposure. He's not only a great therapeutic dog, he's kind of a marketing tool as well. That's kind of his second job, just getting out, because people will approach him when they won't approach me, and gives me an opportunity to explain what we do at the Firefighters Burn Institute, and ultimately what our partnership is with Hearts for Heroes, and how this dog came into our possession. The Firefighters Burn Institute started after a plane crash in 1972. And at that time, we had no burn unit in Sacramento. One firefighter vowed to make it different. And within a year, our organization was formed. A year after that, we had a burn unit in Sacramento, which ultimately brought Shriners into Sacramento from San Francisco, the partnership that they have with UC Davis. So those were kind of our founding roots. And then our goals were, after that, is to provide programs for the aftercare for our burn survivors. And that is really our main focus. When they're at UC Davis or Shriners, they're getting some of the finest care they can get in this nation. And I truly believe that. But it's when they come out, whether it's a kid coming out of Shriners or an adult coming out of UC Davis, their journey has just begun. And some of them are firefighters, again, some are kids, civilians. We don't just treat firefighters. We support a whole burn community. So receiving the dog really was an opportunity for us to get connected with those burn survivors, because it's a little difficult at first, especially with our kids coming out. We want them to come to our camp, but they don't know who we are. They don't know exactly what we do. And we know if we can get them there 1 year, we'll have them for a lifetime. Boots kind of bridges that gap. And that partnership with Hearts for Heroes and the Paw Platoon really gave us an opportunity to open up that door and make that connection, and then be able to build a relationship with them long term. Our relationships with our burn survivors go a lifetime. There's kids that I met when they're 6 years old that are now 20 years old and coming back as counselors. So in the fire service, when we say you're part of our family, you're a part of that family for life. And so is Boots, and so is Hearts for Heroes. Christmas last year, we had just gotten Boots, and Shriners was, at that time, I was not able to get into Shriners, but Shriners kids could come out. So they came to our office. Shriners has a large population of Spanish-speaking patients. And so this one particular kid who was deaf, a girl, she was deaf. She'd lost her mom in the fire. I know a little bit of sign language, so I was trying to make that connection. We were making a little bit of a connection, but I didn't really feel it. Boots was in the back room. Boots came out, and immediately I saw a connection. Here's a gal that can't hear what people are saying, can't communicate, unless she has an interpreter. And yet Boots came in there, and it was like universal language. And I saw her smile. I saw her be engaged, and that was, we just gotten Boots. And that was when I knew that this program, this dog has the potential to change some lives. I'm a person that trusts my gut, and I trust my instincts with another human being. Meeting with Shelley and hearing what her vision was, and this was in the early stages of it. And when she refers to me as a mentor, she got to realize I haven't been doing this job very long myself. So, but I've learned a few things, and we put our heads together. We talk to each other. We communicate with each other. But that commitment within not only the fire service, obviously that's my background, but now to see law enforcement, see Citrus Heights PD, knowing that there's a dog at Mercy Folsom. My wife is a nurse. She's actually a nursing professor now. Knowing that we all have that together, and again, our trainings that we do, not only make sure that our dogs are behaving and doing what they're supposed to do, but it connects us together. Early on, Roseville had a very significant shooting in the back of the fire station, and it was not Blitz, but Ash. Blaze was the dog that was there. And we hadn't really connected, but what we realized afterwards was next time there's an incident like that we're dealing with first responders that are going through emotional struggle, dealing with civilians, let's rally together, drop a phone call, and let's get together. And that's, I think, what I like about the program is it's the commitment. When I go to peer supports, in Sacramento, we have a peer support. At any given event, there is at least 2 or 3 of the Hearts for Heroes dogs with some other dogs as well, because we know the impact. But again, with Hearts for Heroes and the Paw Platoon, specifically that partnership that we know we have each other's backs. And that's, to me, is what the fire service is all about. I went into this to be the handler so that he could service a community, and I got 2 other dogs at home. Wasn't necessarily ready to have a third dog, but he's become my partner. Because of what I have to do with him with training and take him everywhere, to conferences, to he's been to concerts, we take him everywhere. He's really become my emotional support too. And I think it was one of those things that didn't think I needed, because I have 2 dogs at home, but this one's a little bit different. And he reads me the way I read him. So he's become my therapy dog. And that's what, in going into this, I knew I could not be the person that trains a dog and then gives it up. And God bless the people that do that, and that is so needed. But that was part of the partnership, is that I would be the handler. Hearts for Heroes actually owns the dog at this time. When he retires, then it'll be my dog. And then the Firefighter Burn Institute is the sponsor of the dog. And that partnership seems to be working real well. And I couldn't imagine not having him around for my own support. As first responders, law enforcement, military, we put up a hard shell, and a shell that we're not necessarily willing to let down for humans. But for a dog, we can break that down a little bit. And I think that's the starting factor. We've been dealing. We're very engaged as a community, as a profession of the mental health of our first responders. We've lost too many because of the PTSD, the things that we have to deal with. So I think we're doing a better job of recognizing that early on. And the dog can be a part of that to break down that shell. I tell people in the fire service, our dining room table is sacred ground. That's where conversations happen. That's where we put the phone down, we turn off the news, and we actually engage in conversations with each other to make sure that we might be the first one to recognize something ain't right with my brother across the table, and being aware of that. And I think the dog just really opens that up. And I've also seen it with the community when there's been that type of call, that maybe it's another station organization and they'll call up and they'll say, hey, Dan, hey, Mark, can you bring the dog down? We got a family that's struggling here. And maybe that will help bridge that. And I've seen it, and I've seen it work. And it's pretty amazing when it happens. For people to understand what it is that we do. For us, one of our biggest things is letting people know we serve a community, not just firefighters. Our branding, people think it's just for firefighters. I think for Hearts for Heroes is the same, is that communication that this program is out there, that it's having a positive effect, that I think that's the key for people that want to donate. Ultimately, donations for any nonprofits, it's the driving blood for us. But it really starts with understanding and then having a passion for that. If I want to donate to an organization, if I understand what they do and the impact that is actually having on our community, then I'm more willing to be engaged in that. I've been involved with volunteerism throughout my career. I was a volunteer firefighter before I was a paid firefighter. So I understand the impact of nonprofits, volunteerism, supporting the community. Again, getting into this role, I thought I was just going to be a retiree that went to the camps, and I got an opportunity to run an organization and then to be able to have partnerships with other nonprofits is so important. I tell the community all the time that as nonprofits, we do better when we work together. When our missions align, then we support each other. When they might be a little bit not exactly aligned, we still support them because we know it's all for the greater good. But any of those times that they intersect, we need to jump in together, support each other, and get the community to understand what it is we're trying to accomplish. One of the things that we do as an organization is, again, support each other. And we do that through attending people's events, supporting them financially as well as word of mouth when I'm out and about. And I, talk about what my dog is doing for the Burn Institute. The next sentence is, I got this dog through this organization, this lady in Folsom that had this grandiose idea of placing all these dogs into firehouses, into police departments. And that's how we ended up with the dog. But by supporting each other, for example, we'll be going to the gala. I've been to the last two. This is the third annual one. It's a great opportunity within the Sacramento area to recognize our first responders as well as military personnel. Shelley has supported us because her home base is in Folsom. She was the bulldog that pushed Folsom Fire to win the Chiefs Challenge. And that didn't come easy. That came by getting out to the community, getting restaurants to do a portion, Visconti's, to do a portion of one night to go to our boot drive. And she put all that work in just to help our organization. And so in turn, we do the same thing. Local 522, the Firefighters Burn Institute, will be represented at the gala because we recognize how important it is, not only for her organization, but for the community to understand how our organizations work together for the greater good. This is not just about Hearts for Heroes. It's not just about Folsom. This is about our community. This is about our first responders. This is about, taking care of each other, which falls right in line with what we do as first responders.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Play Hard and Love Big Radio with Executive Director of the Firefighters Burn Institute, Joe Pick, and the Executive Director of Hearts for Heroes USA, Shelley Martell. To learn more about Hearts for Heroes USA and how you can support them, go to heartsforheroesusa.org. Check in the description. I'll leave a link there for you so that it's super easy to find them. At Spotted Dog Yoga and Sup, we have some amazing programs coming up in the new year. January 30th, we start Awaken Yoga Training Program, which is a program designed to help people understand how to use yoga and meditation to connect deeper to their body so they can get more present, to deal with trauma, to move forward in their life in a more purposeful way. So join us for that. And in June of 2025, we are headed to Colorado for a retreat, an adventure and yoga retreat, where we will be bringing people together from all over the country to do yoga, to adventure, to paddleboard, to eat, to build community. It's going to be amazing. I'll leave a link for both of those programs in the show notes as well. Thank you for sharing this show. Thank you for leaving a review for us on your favorite podcast platform. It helps us reach more people and make a bigger difference in more lives. Also, don't forget to listen through the month of December for more interviews from great members of your community that are involved with Hearts for Heroes USA. See you soon.